My name's Keith VanderVeen. I am probably in the horse show world best known as father of Kristen VanderVeen.
I am Kristen VanderVeen, and I am the owner and manager of Bull Run Jumpers.
One year we sold 28 horses, and when I did the math with the bookkeepers and the accountants, we didn't make any money.
It was definitely a lot of tension had been building.
In the beginning, it's hard to figure out, well, what business model can make sense.
Either the business needed to work or I needed to think about going a different direction with my life.
We're very conscious of the fact that we wanted to have a good name in the business, give people a great horse at a fair price. That's tough.
My parents had given me as much as they could financially, and it was coming to a point where they couldn't give any more.
And so we tried to tinker with the model, decided we wouldn't be able to carry that many horses.
And all I had at the moment, even to get that kind of money, would be my top horse, but she was a little bit difficult and a little bit special, and it wasn't a horse I'd ever been asked about. So I felt the pressure and tension building without a real clear out.
And so it's at that point then that we decided, you know what, we're going to have to meet with Kristen. We're going to have to pray about this, and maybe this isn't what she's going to do with her life.
So when we got together that night to kind of talk about it, it was very emotional because both my parents have been very invested.
I'll admit to you, I was crying, and Kristen said, "Dad, don't worry about it. Let's just pray about it together as a family. And if it's not meant to be, if I'm not meant to be in this sport, I'll do something else."
I've always had a heart for orphanages, and so I was like, it's not a problem. If this is not where the Lord wants me, that is a direction that I would be happy to go and serve.
And she said, I think I'll be a missionary. I think I'll go back to India, where she had been previously, and work in orphanages with children.
The Lord's really going to have to show up now and clearly direct. Does he want me to stay in the horses? I feel like I've been gifted in this area, and so I feel called to it, but at the same time there was always is there enough purpose in this sport?
It was like, wow, okay, I mean, if that's possibly where the Lord's going to take your life, and not in professional horses, then let's commit this to prayer, which we did as a family.
I had a real sense of peace about it. It was not a stressful situation. It was just like okay, this isn't in my hands anymore.
Sometimes you just don't know.
It was literally that weekend that I had my final kind of big show on her, and my first time getting to jump a proper Saturday night class, which was just a miracle to get into for me at the time. We
thought this mare was a pretty cool horse, but we had literally no experience at this sort of 1.60 m type height. And, but we're going to give it the good old try here.
And it went fine.
She had a terrific round.
My dad was so excited.
I thought it was fabulous. I thought the mare jumped fabulous.
And the horse was great, but I had plenty of errors.
Her brother, who's also at the time a Grand Prix rider, said, "Well, Dad, it wasn't quite as good a round as you thought it was."
Nothing that I think somebody would be like, "Ooh, I want that one," or "That was amazing." It was a round with a green rider and a green horse.
And as she's coming out, I'm saying, "Kristen, that was just great." And she was like, "It was my rails. I really blew it." And
I was quite surprised when from behind us I was asked, "Hey, is that horse for sale?"
And of course I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's definitely for sale.
And I was like, well, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Depends how serious you are. It is my top horse.
And I'm like,
It got very serious, and they said they absolutely had a real client. And at that point, I just felt very clear from the Lord, like, quote him what you need. And it's a very, yes or no situation.
I was just like, what, are you crazy?
Nobody batted an eye, nobody blinked, and the trial was set up for the next day.
And I was just like, whoa.
And I brought the horse over myself to their property. And after they had tried her,
she called late in the afternoon, and I said, "So how'd it go?" She said, "Terrible. I don't think the trial went well at all."
Okay, that is not a match made in heaven.
And I said, "Oh, okay, well, I mean, these things are in the Lord's hands, and so it's over." She goes, "No, they want to try it again tomorrow."
Brought the horse over, and the girl's parents were there, and she seemed to be absolutely in love with the horse.
I said, "So where does it leave us?" "They're vetting it on Wednesday."
And I was like, wow.
Now this is Saturday night she showed, Monday it was tried, Tuesday retried, vetting it on Wednesday.
They did the most extensive vet check I've ever seen done on a horse. I think every bone in the horse's body was x-rayed, and everything came back completely clean.
And the wire transfer came in on, I think it was Friday morning.
Never had that happen since then or before then on a deal. Nothing ever goes that quickly or that smoothly.
And the mare was sold for, to us, a lot of money.
So it was a real clear sign from the Lord that this is where you're supposed to be and this is what you're supposed to be doing.
It was just this close to not being able to continue on in the sport. Because as everybody knows watching this thing, it's expensive. And not everybody can bankroll a Grand Prix rider right up into the professional ranks. That's, you know, that's out of reach for most people, I would say. And but when you stay committed, when you put up and you sacrifice, and you're sure it's what I would call a God calling in your life, pretty amazing things can happen.